Good Saturday morning, or actually Saturday afternoon. And welcome to my channel. I know I've been gone a while, but with COVID and all the things that we are in the middle of right now in America, I've been busy. So, but my passion is still to try to teach and educate. And I'm here to have a little short discussion with you today. Today, I want to talk about two things. I want to talk about fear, and I want to talk about outing. And the outing that I want to discuss is the difference between outing a woman of trans experience versus outing a so-called cis heteronormative man who is dating trans women secretly, also known as a DL guy. I want to start with a little bit of light reading, and I'm going to put this up on the screen, this quote by Dr. Wade Nobles that's in what I'm going to read to you. Language is very powerful. When you are the ones who set the rules, you set how that language is used and how it's defined. The essence of power is the ability to define someone else's reality and force them to live by that definition. I'm going to say that again and probably edit some of it out. The essence of power is the ability to define someone else's reality and force them to live by that definition. That's by Dr. Wade Nobles. Now, when we talk about European colonialism and how it spread all over the world, we really don't truly define what that means. You know, the Europeans invaded, looted, and slaughtered indigenous cultures all over the world. They also destroyed their traditions, their languages, and their religious practices. A lot of those religious practices they deemed demonic and illegal. They also broke up families and indoctrinated their children, and in the process erasing hundreds, if not thousands of years of culture. So in saying all that, as we talk about the first point being fear, we men have been indoctrinated to be afraid, to think one way. It has been infected by European colonialism and religion. But those two are pillars of white supremacy. So, without going all into it, let me say trans women are women, and we're not going to have a discussion about the whys or the whos or however you feel about it. This is my point, this is my stance, and I'm going to move forward from there. So, in talking to a lot of men, I notice something that is always true, especially for those men who are still DL or discreet or hiding their preferences or whatever you want to call it. These men live in fear of what may not ever happen. And that gets me to my next little quote. And it was actually in a movie from Will Smith called After Earth. And it goes, fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is a product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present or may not ever exist. Fear is not real. The only place that fear can exist is in our thoughts of the future. It is the product of our imagination, causing us to fear things that do not at present or may not ever exist. That is near insanity. Now, do not misunderstand me. Danger is real, but fear is a choice. I know some of you have heard me use this quote in other conversations. I use it because it's very very important to understanding how men who are still struggling with their attraction to trans women think. That fear of the unknown, that fear of what people may say or may never say, controls their lives. That fear is real to them, but they don't realize that it's a choice. They are choosing to live in fear and choosing to allow fear to control their actions. And that's very dangerous. One of the messages that I want to get out to the men is that no matter how much you feel about your church or your family or what your friends are going to say, or whatever excuses you may have to continue being, on the DL or whatever you want to call it, it never stops you from messing with trans women. I know a couple of guys who have been doing the same thing for 30 years, getting married, get caught cheating on their wives, their cis woman wives with a trans woman, getting divorced, saying they're okay, remarry a cis woman, wash, rinse, repeat. I know one guy has done it 3 times. I did it twice myself. So don't shoot me. I've always been transparent about that. But I married the same woman, so it's like marrying somebody and taking a break. Leave me alone. So, in saying all of that, it doesn't stop us men from pursuing trans women. Cis heteronormative men knowingly pursue trans women for sexual encounters and more. So it's really important that we understand and recognize that. So to the fellas out there, fear is a choice. Now, I do have a group called the Trans Supporter Brotherhood that I started with my very good friend Jonathan Hayden. And we have discussions like this among men all the time. We have Saturday Zoom calls where we have these deep diving discussions about, who we are, how we feel, and what we want and where we want to go. So we challenge each other to do better and to be better. Because, again, fellas, trans women live their truth 24/7, 365. They live that truth in a society that openly attacks them from almost every angle, from our government to their to the medical profession. I mean, just in every way, housing, employment, on every aspect of their lives, someone is trying to take away their rights. And yet we sit back, living in fear, enjoying the fruits, so to speak, of trans women without any skin in the game. Fellas, we got to stop doing that. Now, in saying that and talking about that fear, I wanted to talk about outing, meaning, outing a woman as a trans woman, telling her business, versus outing a man who is secretly dating trans women, hiding, being discreet, being on the DL. So here's my point on that. There are 2 entirely different things, and the latter, the first, outing a trans woman, is dangerous and you can cost them their life. Period, end of story. It's wrong. No one should ever out a trans woman, as trans, no matter what. Because what you're doing, you're putting her life in danger. Because there are some very, very crazy people out there who literally would want to destroy that person, that trans woman, simply because she exists, simply because she's able to walk in her truth. And that's not fair. Now let's talk about men. The fact that you're sneaking around, you wanting to be discreet. I can understand keeping relationships under wraps if they're not serious. But when this is your practice, this is what you do, this is what you believe in, and the only people that you are keeping a secret are those trans people, then we have a problem, my friend. Because you're selfish, you're a hypocrite, and you need to do better. The only way that we are going to shift the paradigm, that we are going to change how people react and other men react to trans women being in love with a trans woman, dating a trans woman, is by more of us stepping out, stepping up, and being open and honest about who we are and what we do. That is the problem. A trans woman has the right to exist and move about, this country, this city, wherever she is, in her business, in safety. Very few of us men had to worry about being attacked. We didn't have to worry about, people we men don't have to worry about being attacked. We don't have to worry about our lives being threatened. We don't have to worry about gangs of other men rushing us and beating us like Malaysia Booker. And I don't remember the other young lady's name, and I'm very upset about it. So we men don't have to worry about roving gangs of men jumping on us like with Malaysia Booker. Those are things we don't have to worry about. Those are things that are not even on our radar. So it's really, really important that we understand the responsibility that we have as men, as black men, especially for black trans women, for us to stand up. We cannot continue to hide in the shadows while our lives are being lost. And let's keep it real, brothers. Those faces, those killers of those trans women, they are black faces. Are we our sister's keeper? Yes, we are. I'm challenging all of you brothers out there to do better, because these trans women are not only just women that we love and may want to have sex with, but these are our sisters, our cousins, our nieces. They're part of our family. If Black Lives Matter, all Black lives matter. And we must stand up for trans women. I said today I was going to keep this one short, but I'm going to be probably doing videos once a week to just really start these conversations back again, and hoping I can get people to join in and help just me do some change and make some positive change. Thank you for your time. Peace.